How you folks doing? So, a priest is sitting in the confessional booth listening to, obviously, people's confessions, when suddenly he feels the need to go to the bathroom. He tries to hold it in, manages to make it through a couple more people's confessions before finally he just can't take it anymore. So before the next person comes in, he runs out of the confessional, is looking around desperately, for a bathroom. And on the way, he sees the janitor for the church. And he goes up to the janitor and he goes, "Listen, my son, this is a horrible emergency. I have to use the bathroom, but I need someone to mind the confessional booth. Listen, it's really easy. It's okay. You just go in there, sit down, and on the wall, I have a list of, various sins. And every single sin you could encounter is written on it. And it tells you what the penance is for the person who's committed the sin. Go ahead and take care of it. I'll be back in 5 minutes." Priest just immediately runs off. The janitor looks confused, but he's like, okay. So he goes over, sits in the confessional booth, and sure enough, someone comes along to confess their sins. They say, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned." And the janitor's like, Tell me your trespasses, my child." And the woman says, "Well, Father, I've committed 3 sins recently. The first is that I've had impure thoughts about a man." The janitor looks over, and sure enough, he sees the list that the priest keeps up on the wall in the confessional listing all the sins, and he's looking for impure thoughts, and he finds it, and he says, "Say 5 Our Fathers, and your sins shall be forgiven, child." And the woman says, "The second sin I've committed is that I've had sexual relations with a man who is not my husband." And the janitor tries to keep, from coughing a little bit. So he looks over at the list, and sure enough, there it is. And he reads off the list, and he goes, "Say 6 Hail Marys, my child, and your sins shall be forgiven." The woman then goes on, "The third sin, Father, is that it was anal sex." The janitor's kind of flabbergasted, but he's like, okay. So he starts checking the list, and he doesn't find it anywhere on there. He starts to panic. So he creaks open the confessional door a little bit, and he looks around for anyone who can help him, and he sees an altar boy, and he motions for him to come over. And he says, "Listen, the Father's got me sitting here covering for him in the confessional. What does he usually give for anal?" And the altar boy, without skipping a beat, says, "Usually milk and cookies."